Good morning, everyone. Happy Thanksgiving. I want to say right at the start of this, if you are getting a debit card for your California middle class tax refund, that is very likely because when you filed your taxes using free software, it's usually only free when you file your federal return. H&R Block, TurboTax, a lot of the companies let you file your federal return for free. But then at the end, it prompts you, do you want to file your state taxes with us? And then it'll say it'll cost like $14.99 or $30. But then it also pops up a warning that's like, you don't have to pay now. You can go through all the paperwork and see if you're getting a refund or if you owe. If you're like me, you probably went ahead and clicked to just go ahead and file your state taxes through whoever you use to file your federal taxes. Then at the end of that, let's say you're getting a $200 refund, it asks you, do you want to pay your tax preparation fees out of your refund? And if you clicked yes to that, then that's going to trigger you getting the debit card for that middle class tax refund. And what's happening to some people, if you got like an Emerald card or something like that, that's not actually your regular bank. That's a debit card issued to you from like H&R Block or TurboTax. I'm not sure who does that instant tax refund payment in the form of a debit card when you filed your taxes. If you got your refund like that on one of their instant payment methods, that's actually triggering it to look like it's a separate bank account. And unfortunately, what's happening there is then the payments rejected, right? But that doesn't mean you're not going to get it. It's just rejected by like H&R Block's bank or TurboTax's bank. And then it registers that you need to be sent a debit card to your address. But unfortunately, that places you in the last group of people who would be receiving that middle class tax refund. And then with student loan debt forgiveness, I worry that this is going to be really confusing for people. They've started sending out letters letting people know that their applications have been approved, but that doesn't mean that you're getting the student loan debt forgiveness because that's still tied up in the court system. They don't know if the program's going to be allowed to pass at all or not. Okay, so now that we've got those things out of the way, hello to the 18 of you that are watching. Please give the video a thumbs up. I would like to ask you guys a finance question while you're still in here. Do you guys purchase a Christmas tree? And if you do, is that a waste of money? I'm just curious what your thoughts on that are. Um, every year I have this inner dilemma about should I buy a Christmas tree? Should I not buy a Christmas tree? My mom is allergic to Christmas trees, right? So we never had a real Christmas tree growing up. We had a really fun, nice fake Christmas tree. Fake Christmas trees decorate just the same as a real Christmas tree. But there's two things that I feel like every homeowner does, right? And I guess Christmas trees are just like if you celebrate Christmas, but you buy a real Christmas tree, right? And you plant a garden. I don't plant a garden anymore. I definitely did that like the first year or two I lived here. And then I was like, I'm pretty sure that I'm just killing a bunch of tomatoes and feeding bugs, and I'm spending more on water and fertilizer than for me. Like, I wasn't saving money. I wanted to garden to save money. For me, it didn't pan out. I don't know if I just don't have a green thumb or what, but I just felt like I was watering and buying fertilizer and buying starter plants, and that like I probably only eat, even with inflation, I probably only eat like maybe $7 of tomatoes a summer. And I was definitely spending more than $7 to try and grow tomatoes, which was supposed to be easy. And bugs just kept eating them. And it's kind of the same with a Christmas tree. Like I bought one my very first year in the house. And every year I want one, and every year I'm like, it's just a waste of money, and I'm not sure it's good for the environment. So if you guys could chime in on that, I would love it. And now I'm actually going to get back to your stimulus questions. Okay. Social Justice Warrior says, I want an opinion. Okay. Keep in mind, it'll only be an opinion though, not financial advice. You own a 2017 Honda Civic and you owe $3K left on it. Car today is worth $15K. I did a good job avoiding being underwater on the loan. Should I just pay it off completely? You have $7K in the bank now. Probably not. Okay. Honestly, even on 3,000, right? My advice would be to see if you can refinance it at a lower interest rate than whatever you're paying, unless you're paying less than 4% interest. And then I wouldn't try and refinance it because the best rates kind of going around right now are about at 3.49%, right? You're probably going to be able to lower your payment if you refinance it. And refinancing it won't really it might cause a slight ding to your credit because it would count as opening a new line of credit, but then it's going to actually boost your credit, or at least that's what it did for mine, because it also shows you paying off a large balance. So you could probably lower your car payment by refinancing it. Like, I like a credit union. But I wouldn't pay it off because, okay, so, and this is a change in my thinking, right? As I really start to understand more about finance. So right now, inflation is over 8%, right? So basically, if the interest rate that you're paying is less than 8%, it's actually not really beneficial, and you could sort of be like losing money in a way to pay it off early. Does that make sense? Um, so yeah, and I'm glad that you have the money left to pay it off, but what I would do is I would try and refinance it for a lower interest rate and just keep the payments. And as long as basically the interest rate that you're paying is lower than the rate of inflation, it's kind of like you're getting a good deal. And furthermore, this is kind of like what a lot of really wealthy people do. They take out loans, right? Straight up loans. Like if you get like a 0% interest rate credit balance transfer offer, which are never actually 0%, you have to pay like a percentage, but they take out lines of credit or at like really low interest rates and they invest it in the stock market and try to get a better return rate. Does that make sense? Um, so yeah, because in theory, right, if you get a 4% or even a 6% personal rate loan, and this is only in theory, if you take out a personal loan from like your bank or your credit union at a 6% interest rate, but the stock market on average, um, S&P funds like ETFs return an average of 10%, let's even be conservative and say 8% on average, then in theory, you'd be gaining 2% by borrowing money. Did that make sense? Anyway, so that's kind of how my thinking is changing. Now, I don't recommend that for everyone, but you specifically said that you have 7K in the bank right now. So you could pay off that 3K. But I wouldn't pay it off because with inflation being so high, if you get a good interest rate, it's almost like the bank is paying you to finance your car. So that's my take on that. Hi Alex, good morning. Good morning, Rocky. Rocky, I see you're following Meet Kevin on Twitter. My friend Phidias is still trying to get Elon Musk to hug him. So guys, watch his videos, give him a thumbs up. If anybody has connections to Elon, try and grab his attention. I think he should hire a skywriter. And everybody keeps saying like, what's a skywriter? And like, so I'm explaining that a skywriter is like a person that flies the plane and then they write something that looks like, writing in the, it's not writing in the clouds, but skywriting. Anyway, I think that might grab his attention. You got your email saying you're approved, so hopefully it will pass soon. Yes, and Rocky, thank you for letting me know that you got that letter. But I think that that's going to confuse a lot of people. In a second, we're going to go on that website and see if they're even still accepting applications right now. I think, a lot of people don't read the fine print, so they're not going to understand the difference between it being approved if it passes versus like thinking that it's actually forgiven right away. That concerns me. I'm glad that you're not confused about it. Hi, Anthony. Good morning. Your last name starts with I, not a Golden State recipient. You're zero or negative adjusted gross income. So I'm in that group. Yes, you get yours in December. You need the 350. Uh-oh. Okay. I'm going to just keep going with your questions, Anthony, and then I'll get back to that question in the first one. Okay. You saw my car loan video. You want to buy a car, but you can only afford a small 1K down payment. You won't get a car then. It's scary. A car loan, that is. So here's my take on just cars in general, right? And my advice. Okay, so first of all, I live a little bit in a rough neighborhood. You guys know that. So you guys actually can find cars for in the $1,000 range. But you might need to put a lot of work into a car that only cost $1,000. And speaking of my friend Phidias, he actually had one of his viewers find him a car that only cost $1,000. Also, I'm pretty sure that I have a friend I call him a secret millionaire. He's an old coworker. Here's why I think he's a secret millionaire. He owned like lots of properties and in Florida. But here's a tip that he told me, right? And I think this is such a good idea. He says, go to Florida to purchase a used car because Florida's the retirement state, right? So you get a lot of really nice cars that were kept in really good condition and that have low miles because people in the retirement community just used them to run really local errands, but they kept on top of their car. And then maybe for whatever reason, they're either not driving anymore or they've passed on. And so their grandkids are selling their vehicles for really cheap. So basically it might be worth it to like go to Florida to purchase a used car and then drive it back to California. That's what he did. And I think that I might do that my next time I buy a car. But my mom has always said, right? And she's usually really good with financial advice. My mom's always said with a used car, you don't know if you're buying someone else's problems, right? And that's always made me very nervous being a girl because I definitely think that unfortunately car repair people take advantage of you if they can tell that you don't know much about cars. So that's always made me a little bit nervous. So I've bought a new car all of one time, but I did buy a new car and I did have payments. And yes, payments are nerve-wracking and you shouldn't take a payment for more than you can like comfortably afford. This would be my advice when looking at houses to buy as well. Work backwards. Figure out like what's the most you can pay comfortably, then like lower it by $50 and look for something in that range. I would recommend when I went to Georgia, I ended up driving a Nissan Versa, which is one of the cars that I'm like, "Oh, that's a good little car." And I know one of my viewers drives a Nissan Versa. But like just the really entry level car is fine. And that Nissan was nice. It's not I think it's nicer than my car. And I have a Prius C. I just heard a really weird noise. Um I drive a Prius C, which is like the entry level Prius. But like a Toyota Yaris, the Nissan Versa, is Ford Focus the entry level Ford? I don't actually like Fords, but um, you don't need anything fancy. But definitely, like if car payment's not, you know, possible for you right now, then don't have a car payment. But I do think you can find something for 1,000. But you have to really, 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 really look. And then for 1,000, either the body of the car is not going to look nice, which is fine. You do not need the body of the car to take you from point A to point B, or um, or you might have some like problems that they aren't disclosing to you for the price tag of 1,000. Okay. Okay, Rocky says, just buy a Christmas tree, candle scented, and use that for your buy a Christmas tree scented candle. The reason why this year I'm considering getting a Christmas tree more so than other years is because I have a video idea for my mom that involves presents. And so, can I do a video with my mom that involves presents without a tree? And she's just going to have to deal with being slightly allergic to the tree for a little bit if I get one. Okay, what can I do about housing is key? It's been a year and it still says under review. Okay, so definitely, please, I hope you're still in here. Reach out to your assembly member. They're going to be able to look into that for you. Hold on. I'm trying to put my coffee cup down. It's time to share my screen. So to find your assembly member, this is going to come up on a different tab for a second, but that's okay. We'll just share this tab for a second. Housingiskey.com. I don't think it's .com, but this should take us there. It switches over to the Housing is Key. It says the rent relief applications are closed and to check your status here. But that's where you're saying it still says it's pending. So what you're going to do is go to find your rep. And I want to show you guys this because find your California representative. And do you see, okay, well, anyway, it used to have like a pop-up that's like, this is not a secure site. But anyway, if it says that, don't worry about it. But this is what that website looks like. And that's how you're going to find your representative and email them and say, hey, my landlord's getting testy or whatever the situation is. And from there, see if they can help you. They should be able to help you with that. And thank you for the question. Hi, Francis. All right. Okay, so this is a vote for the actual Christmas tree, not the Christmas tree scented candle, because that's kind of a good idea. It makes your home smell beautiful and lifts up the spirits of the holiday and watching movies. Go ahead and get it. All right. Okay. James says, you once had a terrible loan because the car was a BMW. That car value went lower than the loan and I was underwater. You lost money from that car. Yeah. So that happens almost as soon as you drive off the lot with a new car. They just decrease in value the second you put miles on them. And the second you own it, you're basically already underwater on the car, at least while you're paying off the loan. Okay, Rocky, I think the applications have stopped to apply, but the email does say you're approved, but everything is on hold until it definitely passed. Okay, well, I'm glad that that's clear in the email. Let's go ahead. I just want to see what it says on the studentaid.gov, that official website. It says it up here. Okay, student loan debt relief is blocked. Courts, this is the same message. Courts have issued orders blocking our student debt relief program. As a result, at this time, we're not accepting applications. We are seeking to overturn those orders. If you've already applied, we'll hold your application. Subscribe and check back here for updates, and we will post as soon as further updates are available. But I was reading an article, and yeah, Rocky, you confirmed that they've started to send that out. I just hope that it doesn't confuse people. Okay, Linda, what percentage of the middle class income has California given out to people? Not even halfway done. In terms of the middle class tax refunds, how many have gone out? Yeah, I don't know. I haven't seen those statistics. I know really early on when people were watching, it was like 700,000 had gone out of 15 million. So there's a lot. So I would say that probably at this point we're almost done with the direct deposits being going out. I would say that tomorrow's the absolute latest that someone would see a direct deposit. Oh, this is I'm just gonna call him my friend. Oh, you're watching with your parents, and they loved the video with my mom. That's about the Social Security income, and they want me to keep up the good work. Thank your parents for the encouragement. I appreciate you popping in and leaving a comment. It's always good to see somebody that I know in real life. Are you gonna be there for Thanksgiving with your parents? My mom's gonna come here and cook, and I will live stream on Thanksgiving. I don't know what time. I don't like to commit to a time. Uh, probably around 3:30, I'm gonna say this year. Usually it's later because usually I work Thanksgiving Day, but I won't work Thanksgiving Day this year. Okay. So yeah, it's hard to say if they're halfway done with giving out the middle class tax refunds, but um they are anticipating that most of them will be done, that like 95% will be done before the new year. What else did I want to say? I got excited about Thanksgiving and seeing my friend in here. And oh, I also wanted to say, because there's been headlines. Let's see if I can find that headline that says that this year California is going to be in a deficit, right? Because and people are like, "Oh, this is going to, cause inflation to go up," which is possibly, well, allegedly where we're getting the middle class tax refund from is from a budget surplus, but that budget surplus would have been from the year 2020. No, the budget surplus is from the year 2021, right? They're going off our 2020 taxes because, don't quote me on the year. There was a budget surplus, not in 2022. Let's just go with that because that I'm certain about. So they're saying that there was a budget surplus, and that's where they gave us the middle class tax refund from, was out of that budget surplus. There's like a lot of different ways they can spend the money. They chose to give it back to us. Now, for this year, they're saying we're going to be in a deficit. So, budget whiplash. California faces a $25 billion deficit. So the estimated deficit, and they're not going to ask for the money back. This differs from year to year. I don't know if this article is going to tell us where that deficit is coming from, but like I can just tell you that for me personally, my financial situation is I made more money in even during the pandemic because I worked a few months, and then with all those boosts, and then towards the end of the year I wasn't getting unemployment, and I was reporting my YouTube income, but the YouTube channel was doing much better back then. And so so personally, I'm making less money. I'm not working, which puts me into a lower tax bracket. The business is in the negatives. So, there's not as much tax revenue coming in just from myself personally. I would guess that the same is true for Jenny Silver. I know that she made a lot of money on YouTube for a couple years there, and then I haven't been seeing her post as much. She's still posting, but not quite as much. So her, business income, I would guess, is lower than it was in previous years. With the cost of inflation, that's going up for businesses as well. So their profits, their earnings that they're paying taxes on probably isn't going to be as much. And then, of course, we've got lots of people leaving California. So those would be my guesses as to why California is going to be in a deficit. But let's see if actually, let me see if you guys have questions, and then we'll go back to reading that. Okay. Phantasma Do I know anybody that got the MCTR with a 0 or negative yet? I haven't specifically heard, adjusted gross income. So I haven't specifically heard the different income levels. I can try and put a post on that Facebook group I'm on and find out, or I'll put a poll up on my community page and see. Oh, look in Palm Springs, another retirement community. Um, you got your first Cadillac from a retired doctor that had practically no miles and it was cheap. Yeah. So guys, I guess what I'm saying is look in retirement communities if you want to buy a used car. Okay. Someone said oh yeah, Kia, a Kia Forte. Someone said Nissan and Kia is for poor people. They're so terrible. Needless to say, he drives a BMW. Okay. You know what? Oh, that makes me so mad because that's probably an adult saying that to another adult. Like, who knows? Kia Fortes are nice, and that's the entry level Kia. Those are cute. And that Nissan that I drove was like, it had like a little light on the mirror so it could tell me if someone was in my blind spot. Like, I really liked that, like a light on my like my side view mirrors. Um, like a little orange light would warn me if somebody was next to me. And that was a really nice feature. The like seriously, like unless you have kids, you or do sports, you probably don't need like a really big car. I know your considerations might be different if like you do a sport where you're hauling around a lot of equipment, or if you have kids, you might need a little bit more room. But for most of us, and probably those people driving BMWs, like, again, I know somebody and they were, driving a flashy car, but they really couldn't afford the payment. And like, how dare somebody shame someone else for their car purchase? Like, they're fortunate to be able to have a car, and like it just needs to get them from point A to point B. Nothing fancy. Arr. Seagull, I have a cat that will destroy the Christmas tree, so none for me. Yeah, I actually had like my cat, like an indoor cat that she passed away, but I had her the first year I got that real Christmas tree, and just I had to hang the ornaments up a certain height. Okay, Logan Reese says paying 50%. That's like 4 to 5 milli a year. Players got to maintain the lifestyle. No. Okay. Oh, everyone, please make sure to like the live. Thank you. Family Dollar says, I think that people who need to drive nice cars are hiding some level of insecurities. Just my thoughts. Yeah. And then it's funny though, because first impressions do matter, right? Not in terms of a car, but maybe like make sure, like when I went on my job interview, I made sure that I cleaned my car, like just the outside, because, what if my future boss is there when I'm driving up? I don't want to seem like I'm like a grubby. I don't know. I just want to present as nice as I can. So I did make sure to wash the outside of my car, which, full disclosure, normally I don't do. But I did before I went for an interview, because in case my boss saw me, I didn't want them to think like, oh God, who's this girl who doesn't even bother to wash their car? Okay, Alex, I don't need a flashy new car. My old crappy car still runs and it gets me to work. It does the job. Perfect. I love that. Okay, Logan says, I'll pay anything for a 94 Toyota Land Cruiser. Now, why is that? Uh-oh, Mr. Burgless. We gotta block Mr. Burgless here. What the heck? We're gonna just put Mr. Burgless in a timeout. Okay, Alex, I'm poor. I admit it, but I try to make the best out of what I have and count my blessings. Exactly, and I love that. Jennifer Henderson has not seen anything yet, which is super frustrating. I'm sorry about that. I have now put Mr. Burgless into timeout. Jennifer Henderson says, California's a joke. Anyways, it's time to move away from the state with everything is ridiculous here. It's certainly cheaper to live like almost anywhere else. Now, no, Alex, the assembly members have confirmed that you do get it even if you have a negative AGI or a zero AGI. That as long as you filed your 2020 taxes and you made under the income limit, you can go as far under it as possible. I'll try and find that in an actual article in a second. Mercedes Benz. What if you only collected unemployment money in 2020? Won't get this debit card. You did file your 2020 taxes, then you should be eligible. So this is different than the Golden State stimulus. Golden State stimulus, you needed to have $1 in earned income. So, and like with unemployment, you don't earn that income, right? It's actually income given to you basically because your earnings have stopped. What is going on with my hair today, guys? But this is based on your tax filing. So even if you had a 0 or a negative AGI, you should still get it. Prince Ali, good morning. There's really awesome sports coupe you saw owned by old people, 20K miles on it and a 2011 model. You want it for a car that age. That's so low mileage. That really is. I have a 2013, which is 2 years newer. And I have over 100,000 miles on it. Oh, and I can't believe I got this far in my live without saying hello to Ernie. I got to meet Ernie. Was the first person, and this is not a call for you guys to donate, but like I was like super excited because Ernie was the first one of my viewers to ever donate money to my channel, which I just thought was like the coolest thing ever. And I met him in person. I picked him up from the airport, and I took him to where he was going. So safe travels, Ernie, if you are listening to this. Jarrett, what's a good website to search for used cars? Okay, so you have to be careful with this, right? Because there's people who will try and take advantage. Like my mom almost got taken advantage of like this. But Facebook Marketplace. Facebook Marketplace and Craigslist. So I have a friend who fixes cars, and they told me that people don't like to list on Craigslist anymore because you have to pay to list on Craigslist, but then that actually gives the ad a little bit more credibility. Because I might as well share this story with how someone was like dishonest with my mom. So my mom got an ad on Facebook Marketplace that talked about like this used car at a really good price, like a price that's too good to be true, right? And the old saying is absolutely true. If it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. So their story was like, I'm selling it so cheap because my boyfriend like is in the military now and he's not driving it and we can't afford the payments. So I just need to get rid of it fast. And then it was like one of these deals where it's like, oh, but I'm out of state. And so I just need you to pay for the shipping with this like crazy freight company. Like, never, ever, ever, ever buy a used car unless you can physically go inspect it. And even then, like, have somebody say that they're a mechanic and at least like pop the hood and like look around, even if you don't know anything about cars. You know, you could look for things like, is there a cracked, dried out hose? You could probably check like the oil level. And something else that my mom, I can't believe that she almost got taken by that. I was like, no, mom, that's like a scam. And she's like, no, they just really need the money. They seem honest. And I was like, no. And I'm so glad that she like finally realized that that was a scam. And also like, I don't hate anybody, but I don't like anybody who tries to take advantage of senior citizens, especially not my mom. But anyway, so be careful with that. Like if somebody's telling you a tall tale or the car is just like too cheap, then you know that like something fishy is up. But I do still recommend Facebook Marketplace, Craigslist. Um, and then honestly, if you're gonna get for a used car, CarMax, I think, is overpriced. Honestly, like, I would drive around a neighborhood like mine, where maybe it's not the best neighborhoods, but where you actually see the for sale signs on the car that itself. It'll straight up say, like, for sale for $1,200, for sale for $1,500. And that's the kind of car that you're going to get for $1,000 because maybe that for sale sign has been on that car for a while and maybe that car like totally looks terrible, but maybe it's been taken really good care of. So just drive around a not so great neighborhood and look for the signs on the cars that are for sale. That's what I would do. I should make a whole video on that. Like, beware of that, those tricks on Facebook about my mom. Phantasmaghost. You're in the same spot. You filed your 2020 taxes, but only reported unemployment. But I said you should qualify for it. Yes. And that's coming straight from the assembly members. Let me just see if I can find the actual ad. Yep, Joel, who is a mechanic, is saying get a used Toyota or Honda. They're the best used cars ever. Absolutely, and I totally agree with that. And that's what my best friend did. Renegade Billy. I am well, thank you. I hope you're well as well. You got your refund a couple of days ago, and it's held you over to payday. Don't give up, guys. Yes. Can you tell me how to transfer my MCTR debit card to your bank? Yes, but I think that they're going to charge you $1.25 for that. So let me switch over to that. And yeah, Michelle, unfortunately, it is too late if you have not filed your 2020 taxes yet. They did need to have those filed by October 15th of 2021. Okay, so definitely they won't be doing this again because there's this deficit for that they're predicting for the year 2022. Okay, but let's go back to the FTB website, which I don't actually think we've been on today. Okay, it's loading. Oh, my internet doesn't normally take this long. Oh, what is going on here, guys? Oh, I don't like it. And the spinning wheel of death let's try and do this again. Enter. There we go. Oh. Oh. Ooh, is it video time, guys? I think it is. Okay. So interesting. Okay, so far, direct deposits, they have issued 6,739,880,000. Debit cards issued 2,556,729, and the total amount that they've issued is $5,053,764,350. So this is the first time I've seen the page change, and this information is as of 11/11. So far, it's benefited, so it's counting dependents. So far, it's benefited 17,259,498. Okay. Determine your eligibility. So let's just go through the estimate my payment amount, right? Did you file a complete 2020 tax return by October 15th? We're going to say yes, that you did in 2021. Dependent status, that can affect it. For your 2020 tax return, were you eligible to be claimed as a dependent by anyone else? We're going to say no. Were you a resident for 6 months or more in 2020? Note, you must also be a California resident on the date the payment is issued. We're going to say, yes, we were a resident. For your 2020 tax return, what was your filing status? We're going to say single. And look, see, it just says, was your California AGI adjusted gross income reported on your 2020 taxes 75K or less? A 0 or a negative would certainly be 75K or less. Did you claim dependents? We're going to say no on that one, guys. See, your estimated payment is $350. But let's go to that help with the middle class tax refund section. Hold on. Okay, Francis is reminding everybody to like the video, which I certainly appreciate. Okay. And Sam, we're going to go over how to transfer that. Let me do that right now. JR, do we have to report unemployment compensation for 2023 taxes. Yes, they're going to send you tax forms as well. So yes, you should report that. Fast View 2 says, I would wait to buy a car right now. The prices are still inflated. For example, you have a 2013 Impala you bought for 10K in 2016 with 70K miles. And right now, the same car miles is 16K. I don't Oh, you're saying it's costing more money with the same it's costing 6,000 more than you bought it for. That's crazy. But yeah. Uh-oh, my internet is having a deficit. It was. But I got that fixed. Hi, Raider Pete. If you've not received your middle class refund, is there a number I can call? You file every year and you received all the stimulus they sent. Raider Pete, I haven't seen you in here before. Did you check the button at the end when you file your free federal taxes, like with TurboTax or H&R Block? There's normally another prompt that's like, do you want to file your state taxes with us? And then it goes on to say, um, it'll be $14.99 or $29.99 or something like that. But hey, you can find out how much your refund's going to be before you decide if you want to go ahead and use this to file your state taxes. So, like most of us, I know I click yes, I want to do that. Then let's say you're getting $200 back, right? And so then you're excited because you're getting a refund not only from federal, but also from the state. And then, like, it's already ready to go. So you think, okay, I'll just pay the 15 or I'll pay the 30 to file my state taxes with this company as well. Then there is a button that says, do you want to withhold your payment from your refund? And again, I'm just going from like how I do it. Of course, I want to take it out of the refund because I don't want to pay them like $15 to $30 up front when I'm getting a refund, because the refund still is a refund. So I'm still going to get like $170 back. Still feels like free money basically that you're getting back. So of course, just like take the payment out of my refund. Well, that triggers you getting the debit card in this situation. So I think that's what's happening to a lot of people. But yes, there is a number you can call. But again, I held for like 4 hours, and then it's like the representatives that you get don't really seem to know that much anyway. So that's frustrating, and I just kind of like don't recommend it because of that. Okay. So, um I'll tell you the number though. Let's just scroll down. Um Okay, still scrolling down. Mm. Oh, interesting. Haha. So we might have to pay federal taxes on the middle class tax refund. So they are going to send us a 1099 MISC. That's a 1099 miscellaneous. The middle class tax refund payments may be considered federal income. And since it might, but only if, okay, since it might, 1099 miscellaneous for middle class tax refund payments of more than $600 will be issued. And you should consult the IRS or your tax professional regarding the federal tax treatment of these payments. So the customer support number for the Franchise Tax Board is 800-542-9332. So that's the number that you can call. Claimer will help you call the Franchise Tax Board as well, and I have them linked in the video description down below, because again, I actually called the Franchise Tax Board and the hold time was 4 hours. And then the person that I talked to really did not know much at all. Sorry, I'm scrolling up really quickly because someone asked about transferring the money. So I'm going to go back. Okay. We got to go to the Money Network website, which is linked on this first page, I believe. Okay, yeah. So, Money Network. We're going to continue on to that page. It warns you that you're leaving it. So, terms and fees. Is it the cardholder agreement? No, it's the fees and schedules page. Oops. Okay. So, this is to the person who asked about transferring it to your bank account. So, that would be now, see, it says international here. So, don't quote me on it costing you. And there's not any other transfer information. But just to be sure, so it says transfer to external bank, but then it says international. Let me just read this fine print over here. $7. It might cost you $7 plus 3.5% of the transferred amount. But that's for international. It doesn't say if it's domestic. We charge transfer fees consisting of a fee of up to $7 plus a markup on the exchange rate. But that's again for international. The transfer fees may be less depending on the amount transferred and the market conditions. Applicable transfer taxes will be charged. The exact amount of transfer fees and transfer taxes charged by us will be disclosed to you before you complete the transaction. That's all for international. Oh, no, that's just a transfer to external bank. So maybe they don't charge you if you go just with a transfer domestically, but you should just be able to transfer it. But since like I'm not able to clearly tell you what those fees might be, what I would do is I would use the ATM locator and I would pull it out of an ATM machine with them. One of the ones that are in network so that you're not charged fees. I hope that made sense. Okay. Okay. Let's see here. I think I accidentally skipped a question. It doesn't actually tell you how to do the transfer. They do have a 1-800 number, so you could maybe call that number that's up on screen, the 1-800-240-0223, and see if they're able to help you do it. Otherwise, I would probably just use one of the free ATMs. Okay. Ba, 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 ba. Okay. Raider Pete says, you go to a tax preparer, not sure what he does, but thank you so much for the information. You are welcome. And then usually you do the electronic fast return. So that's the other thing that will prompt getting the debit card. So if you select like instant refund, then so what's happening is that, and here's where it says that. Let me just show you right where it says that. Sorry. Yeah. Okay, we'll go back this way. So, da, 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 da. Sorry, I'm scrolling because I know pretty much where to find this. You will receive your payment in the mail in the form of a debit card if you received an advance payment from your tax service provider. That's definitely, oh, dang it, it's not showing the page. Share this tab instead. Okay, now I'm sharing the right page. So again, you will receive your payment in the mail in the form of a debit card if you received an advance payment from your tax service provider. So that's like those instant debit cards. Then that means that you're going to get this in the form of a debit card. And unfortunately, when you get those instant payments or the electronic fast return, it's like getting sent first to the tax preparer's bank information, then it has to be rejected by them, which that's like a 8 to 14 week process. Then from there, they're gonna mail you out the debit card. So unfortunately, you're probably gonna be in the last group. Good morning, KAFLA TV. It is really good to see you in here. I'm not sure if you're still in here. I think that your organization, um, is it the Korean American Federation of Los Angeles? He runs a channel in Korean, but it often covers the same topics. I think you guys were giving out free turkeys yesterday, or you partnered with someone who is giving out free turkeys. If you know of, if you're doing any other like resources where you're giving out free turkeys, please share that with my viewers. You guys know that normally I like to recommend Ibotta, and I still recommend Ibotta because you can, like, buy items and even on food stamps and, like, earn cash back just for using an app, just for buying things. And they always do free Thanksgiving, and they did that this year, but in order to unlock your free turkey offer, it's different amounts of items for everyone. So the amount I needed to unlock my free turkey was 29 items to purchase, and then it would unlock the free turkey. And for my mom, it was 16 items, but that's still kind of a lot of items. Okay, Prince Ali, can you find an ATM machine where there's no fee slapped on the withdrawals, or all banks have the fees? No, there's a definitely, and I think you were just on here when it was on the free ATM finder. Hi, Bonnie. Good to see you. Stay Spark TV. You never got it, and your last name starts with a B. My guess is really, really that you're going to be in that group of people who maybe either got the advance payment from the tax service provider, that instant refund, that kind of thing. And then unfortunately, that could bump you into the last group of people. Anthony says, you're half Korean and half white. You need to get closer to your Korean roots. Good food. Yeah. Actually, I have a friend who taught English in Korea, and she taught me how to eat like Korean hot pot, which I didn't know. And I still don't know. I've only actually gone once, but she ordered it and was amazing. And she like knew what to do with all the sides and told me what was what and how to order it spicy. I wish she still lived near me, but she actually lives closer to Jenny Silver. Okay. The LA Times, you receive direct deposit every year, same bank. Qualify every way you would. And the website said, no reason for a card. Help, thanks. And you didn't get an advance. Did you pay your state tax preparation fees out of your refund? This is the scenario. I've never seen you in here. I just said this, but I'm going to say it again because I really think this is what's hitting people. You go on like H&R Block or TurboTax to file your federal taxes for free. Then it asks you if you want to pay a fee to do your state taxes. And the fee is like $15 to $30. You didn't do that for sure. And your last name starts with B. So for sure, you weren't like, oh, cool. Like, I'm just going to pay this $30 fee to file my state taxes out of my preparation fees. If not, I did you have a balance? So that we've got the scenarios up on screen that would switch it to the scenario where you'll get the debit card. I will say that my friend that I noticed in here earlier, he got the debit card and he was like, I don't think I should have gotten the debit card. So I'll just read the scenarios real quick because outside of what's printed, it's really hard to know if you filed it by a paper return, if you had a balance due. So sometimes, this is the other scenario, sometimes with federal, you'll get a refund, but for state, you might end up owing. So you're still getting a refund overall, but I think that there's a way for them to take what you owe from the state out of your federal refund. So even though you're potentially getting a refund overall because you're getting a refund from the federal tax return, if you owed for the state, then that could still trigger getting the debit card. You already said that you received your Golden State stimulus payments by direct deposit, so that wouldn't apply in your situation. You already said it was direct deposit, so you didn't get a check. If you received your 2020 tax refund, but you've changed your banking information or bank account number, I will also say, so you guys know that I like Yada Bank, Yada Savings Bank, and I have them linked below. Still love them, but at some point, I think when I started um, doing direct deposit with them, so I would get like more tickets or whatever, it changed it from being a savings account only to actually being a checking account. And when they did that, they changed my account number. So has anything happened where like maybe even though it's like my Yada account, it's still the same account, but it's not really because those jerks changed my account. And then the only other things that are supposed to trigger that is either if you got the automatic, like instant refund, or if you took the tax preparation fees out of the refund. So that's almost always the case. Like those tax preparers, they get you by having you pay the fee out of your refund. And it's like they get you because they'll be like, oh, it's free to file your federal, but then they make money because they know that you're already on there and you want to do, your state taxes at the same time you're doing your federal taxes. Unfortunately, outside of that, I don't really know what would be causing that. But I will say that a lot of people are still getting it by debit card and they swore up and down they were going to get it, by direct deposit. And technically, I think tomorrow would still be the very last day to potentially get it by direct deposit because it says direct deposits. They're going out. Oh, no, 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 no. No, I'm lying. Okay. No, I'm telling the truth. Okay. So for direct deposits, the payment issue date, the last payment issue date was 11/14, right? So that was a little while ago. That was last Monday that they potentially went out. But then it says direct deposits typically occur within 3 to 5 business days, and 5 business days past the 14th could be as late as tomorrow. So if we're not counting the 14th, which is Monday, we've got Tuesday the 15th, Wednesday the 16th, Thursday the 17th, Friday the 18th, and then that gives us 4 days, and then skipping the weekend, that Monday the 21st would be the 5th day. Yeah, none of that stated, but most people I know haven't gotten it. Thanks for trying. Yeah. Oh, well, thank you, the LA Times, and I'll try and find that out. I'm also seeing a lot of people who are having trouble activating their card, and unfortunately, I'm not sure what that is either. They're putting in all of their information correctly, their social security numbers and everything, and it's not like even after they get the card, they're having trouble activating it. And unfortunately, I don't know what's causing that. I really wish I did. Okay, guys, if you want to chime in one more time, because I seem to have one vote for yes, spend money on a Christmas tree coming from Francis, and one vote from Rocky saying no, that's a waste of money. And generally, in terms of buying a Christmas, generally, in terms of anything that isn't going to basically like last forever, like it, flowers, right? And my mom feels the same way about flowers. My mom is like, don't give me something that's just going to die. But then also she's like, hey, if you are going to get me flowers, don't send them to my funeral or don't send me flowers after I die. She's like, get them for me while I'm alive to enjoy them. But most of the time, not all the time, because I secretly like flowers, but most of the time I'm like, these are just going to die in a week or two anyway. So this is just wasted money. However, there are some studies that say having live flowers in your house like boost your mood and your productivity and things like that. And so I'm like, well, maybe I need a little memory boost. So anyway, if you guys want to chime in and let me know in the comments if you think I should spend the money on a live Christmas tree. I do have a video planned for this year for my mom in terms of opening presents. And my mom has like a little plastic tree that's up all the time. at her house. So maybe, but the presents are kind of big, guys. Um, and I've had this video planned for a while. So will it still be a fun video if I don't put the presents under a tree? Do you guys care? Do you guys think a Christmas tree is a waste of financial resources? Maybe I'll go look at them and see how much they cost and then go from there. All right. So yeah, Rocky, thank you so much for sharing that you got the letter about the student loan debt forgiveness, saying that your application was approved, but that right now, actually getting it forgiven is on hold until everything passes. I hope that that letter is crystal clear and doesn't confuse anybody. Tomorrow night, I'll be going live at 9 p.m. Guys, also, I at least tried to turn some of my books around on my bookshelf so that I don't know. I have a roommate right now, and because house hacking to save money, which I fully endorse, but I don't have the blue room available for a filming location. Anyway, I'm babbling. I will see you guys tomorrow at 9 o'clock. Thanks so much for watching Shelly's Millions. I'll see you next time. Let me know in the comments after I end this, about a Christmas tree. All right, guys. Thank you. And happy Thanksgiving. And I will be going live on Thanksgiving. I don't know the time, but I just don't want anybody to be totally alone that day. So I'm going to bring you into my crazy family where my mom will probably just beat us at Monopoly, but that's okay.